random. That's so random. But yes, good advice, everybody. Support your local restaurants by ordering out. And call your fucking grandmother, all right? God damn it. Make sure she's doing all right. Dave, I'm not sure if he means live, as in they're actually going to be live, or he's just going to be there live in person next week on Dynamite. But if you were going to guess, do you think we're going to get another guy to step up to challenge Moxley? Or you think they're going to do the ranking system and have them actually announce who his next opponent will be? Because Double or Nothing is only a couple of weeks away. Eventually, they're going to have to add someone to the title picture. What do you think is going to happen next week on Dynamite?
This segment I thought was really weird and kind of dumb, but whatever. Because it doesn't seem like it's Jon Moxley anymore. It seems like he's just reverting back to kind of Dean Ambrose comedy that he did in WWE. It seems like he's kind of reverting back to that. Okay. Whereas, like, when he first came out, he was like, I'm Jon Moxley, I'm finally free, I'm unleashed. But it seems like he's reverting back to that same promo style with that. It doesn't feel... I don't know. I don't really feel the same energy from him anymore. Wow. When he first got released. It just seems different now. But I think the only option, really, because he's not going to be busy touring anytime soon, so I think the only option would be Jericho and Moxley's rematch.
Go after another rematch. Yeah, it makes sense.
Not as well. Because what's he going to put out there? Because they can't do Kenny, and he's technically the next contender. Cody can't get a title shot because he can't have title shots anymore. They just destroyed Darby tonight, so he can't get a title shot because he just lost. So who's next on the list? Jake Hager again?
Oh, God, no. Speaking of ordering out, I hope this whole takeout draft beer thing sticks after the quarantine, says MLW. If anyone who has been affected in wrestling by all this mess, it has to be Jon Moxley. His world title run right now has lost a lot of steam, says Ravensblood. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't really care for him. I think Jericho should be champion, honestly.
That's what I was saying earlier in the show. It seems like people were loving Moxley when he was chasing the title and being that Stone Cold-esque, doesn't give a shit, gonna do whatever he wants.
Not Stone Cold-esque.
Well, how would you describe him then?
I don't know, not Stone Cold.
Well, he just didn't give a shit about authority. He did whatever he wanted, did what he wanted, and it seems like people would rather cheer for him when he's chasing the title, but then when he actually wins the championship, they're kind of bored of him. And
it seems like the same thing in WWE when he was chasing Rollins for the title, and then he finally won it. People are like, oh, he was the first draft pick to SmackDown as a world champion, and it kind of fell flat. It's like because it didn't seem like he felt almost disinterested from it, like he kind of feels now, which I can't say because he ain't really been there much, but he's better at chasing these titles because he had a great feud with Rollins for so long, chasing him, and then he finally wins it, and he beats the other guy too, and then it kind of fell flat. Kind of like this is kind of a failed experiment right now.
But Raven's Blood does make a good point to where if this pandemic was not going on, we probably would have seen him a lot more on the show. They probably would have utilized the championship and made it more important, more than they have, because we haven't really seen much of Moxley at all during this pandemic. I think we've seen him a couple of times, and one time for a match. So he hasn't been really used as much as he probably would have been if this whole thing wasn't going on. So I agree.
Okay, well then, if they want to go that route, then keep him the champion all the way until next year, and then see if maybe we'll have fans then.
I think he's not going to lose the title anytime soon, but I think they're going to have to do some more stuff with him to gain more people's interest in him. What's up, Eric? How you doing tonight, my friend?
Because when you see, like, okay, when I think of AEW, and I'm like, you have Jericho, you have Cody, and it's like, okay, oh yeah, Moxley's the champ. I forgot. He's a forgettable champion. He doesn't stand out. He's not a Chris Jericho who has this huge personality that you know he's the champion. Cody Rhodes, you know Cody, they stand out. To me, he doesn't have that over-the-top personality that just stands out. And that you're like, oh yeah, hey, John, when'd you get here? He's just like that guy standing in the corner, you know? It's like you don't realize he's there.
Yeah,
or you don't realize he's not there.
I'm gonna get to Raven's Blood comment here in the chat room because I agree with her on this. But let's get to some of these other comments. What happened to Pentagon and Phoenix? Their travel restrictions is what's keeping them.
And they're in Mexico with Tessa.
From Dynamite appearances. Scorpio Sky said some homophobic tweets, Dave. That's what made WWE cut ties with them. Bob Ruski says he himself is funny. He's not saying pooper scooper. That's very true. Truth and Loyalty says, I wonder how many people
Always comes back to that.
I wonder how many people picked up the phone and said, hello, Granny, Moxley told me to call you. The whole thing is strange. AEW as a company was really hitting a stride. Then the quarantine hit and everything got derailed to a certain extent, says MLW. Now, Raven's Blood with a interesting comment saying, I don't understand why Moxley seems so much a bigger star and wilder in New Japan than he does in AEW. And I agree with her on that.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a big, New Japan watcher. I know I try to catch it as much as I can, not like you or Bob Ruski or Ravensblood and other people in the chat room. But she's right. He's more edgier. He seems to be more...
like a loose cannon, like a Brian Pillman-esque like that.
Badass on New Japan. And he's more watered down on AEW. Do you have any...
You can say the same for Kenny Omega. Because he hasn't really seemed like the same Kenny Omega.
A lot of people tweet about Kenny as... same thing about Kenny Omega, too. That he's not the same version of Kenny that we get in New Japan than we do in AEW. Any idea why he's like that?
I think he just falls... I'm not trying to say anything bad, because I like Moxley. I always thought he was one of the most underrated of the three Shield members because no one gave a shit about him because he was just the third guy. He wasn't a WWE handpicked guy. He was that other guy there. And I think now that he got out, he's here, and he's the champion, it's like, okay, now what? Because he's the champion now, so now what? Because when they hold him down, it seems like for so long, and then he finally gets to the top and gets the shot, and he wins. And now it's like, okay. But the pandemic has hurt a lot of stuff going forward, not just AEW, but everyone, really. There's a few stars, but I don't know.
I think, honestly, Dave, it's hurt AEW a lot more. Because if you think about it, they don't have their huge stars on the show. I could name...
Well, neither does the Raw.
No, but Raw, yeah, I agree with you on that. But look who AEW is missing. They don't have Hangman, so they can't have tag team title matches. They don't have Pentagon. They don't have Phoenix. They don't have Pac. Those are big-time names that they're missing on the show.
I don't know if they're big-time names.
They're very popular in the wrestling world.
They're not like big-time names. Like,
we haven't had a
Pentagon's a household name.
We haven't had a women's title match in a long time.
Nyla Rose is a big-time name, sure.
But I'm just saying that they're affected in a lot of ways that, and I'm not trying to make this a WWE type of thing. WWE is able to still defend titles and still do stuff like that, other than one that they're doing a tournament for now. AEW hasn't had a tag team title match, hasn't had a women's title match, and that's why I think they're trying to bump this TNT Championship tournament, but so they can have title matches on their show. Excuse me.
Yeah, but the
other
difference
than the World
is
Championship one.
WWE, they have a performance center in Florida. That's where all their stars live, and that's probably where all the AEW stars live too, is in Florida.
Not all of them, or we would
most of them. Okay, fine. Jon Moxley lives in California, whatever.
But I'm saying, in general, Hangman doesn't live in Florida, or he would be
at the show.
I don't know. I don't. Let me look through my fucking handbook real quick, Dave. I don't fucking know.
But these shows aren't done in Florida. They're done in Georgia.
I just think they are hurting a lot more, and like Dave, Bob Bruce, you just said, they just made that stable with Pac, Pentagon, and Phoenix,
and you can't use them, yeah.
And then boom, that hits, and this, people are probably forgetting about that stable right now.
Well, you still got the biggest star of them all. Orange Cassidy's on there every week, so you should be happy. And they still have Cody and Kenny, and you got Jericho. Those to me are your big stars. I'm sorry.
Let's see here. Hey man, we already. Let's see. I agree with Tony. Also, if new viewers are tuning in, they probably watch and think that this is their roster, and this is the commentary, etc. Not that commentary is bad, but I do miss JR and Excalibur.
I don't. This is the best commentary they've had in a long time. Jericho's great on commentary. Him and Tony have great chemistry. Go ahead.
It really hurt that Brody, Hardy, and Archer debut that had generated a lot of buzz, but got the wind knocked out of their sails by the quarantine, says MLW. I could say ROH and AEW are going to work together soon, says Eric. It's a possibility. The best friends traveled from Philly, I think. And look at Moxley saying, I'm going to get in my car and drive.
Driving? Come on!
You know, some people might be paranoid and not want to fly, Dave.
He's going to get the con private. You're going to get the con private jet to go pick him up and bring him there. I guarantee you that's what they're doing.
We still haven't had the blood and guts match, which was a huge selling point for AEW.
Yeah.
Yes, it was, and that's a shame because how are they going to just introduce it back into the mix? You know,
it would make no sense now. There's no point in doing it unless they wait until this fall to hopefully have fans again. But I wouldn't count your breath having fans this fall either.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Honestly, look, if I'm AEW, you probably just write it out and don't do it until next year, and where you actually are able to build up the feud to where you can have that type of a match, because they were doing it. They were doing it that way. We were gonna get the Inner Circle versus who was it again? Was it Team Cody? I can't remember if it was
the Elite, but yeah, with
Matt Hardy. And there was actual reasons behind the feud. Now, if you want to just jump ship and do it again and just say, hey, look, this is what we're going to do, continue it, it could work, but we'll see. Some WWE Pete's flew into the PC, and it wasn't private jet, says Bobrisky. Yeah. Some are flying on.
I know that, but people at freaking, this is not a new company either. I'm talking about you have Khan who got Moxley there. You don't think he's going to take his jet and pick up Moxley personally? I do. I think he's going to send a private jet to pick these guys up, especially your world champion. He's not going to make him fly some commercial flight.
He might. You never know. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. We don't know.